This is where I do the Macarena, and then guys. Okay, we've been dancing the Macarena. Just hi, corn relish. What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Guys, this is Jess Rao. I had already introduced her. However, there was no sound. Jess is a great friend and a really talented voice actor who sings like you could never imagine. And one of the stories I love is how she got to work on Sing. She also plays Tori in Cobra Kai, the video game. She's worked on Baby Shark, Pitch Perfect, Wonder Park, Perry Mason, a bunch of things. And we're going to get into all of it now. We did a little dance earlier while we were muted. I hope you enjoyed it. And Nico Mambino, thank you for coming out to the con. We met in person finally after comments for a year on Twitch. So
crazy. Cons are back.
Cons are back. We'll see. They might stop.
Cons, at least for a second.
Yeah, exactly. A friend that does live shows, one of them got canceled coming up in 3 weeks. So I think that we'll see. We might, I don't know, something will happen. Yay, Jessica! Yeah, right? Jess, how are you?
I'm great. I'm good. Thank you.
You're looking amazing.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, and that hunky guy in the background is looking great too.
Yeah, you saw this room just last week, right?
We did, and I was like, Theo, who the heck is back there? He's like, oh, that's me, and he told us the story. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, it's been a crazy year, and you guys have set up a voice over. You already had a voiceover booth in your house.
When we got the house, I don't know, a few years ago, that was one of our priorities, is to have space for our home studio. So we were already set to hit the ground running.
Yeah, because since even before the pandemic, you guys were doing a lot of audiobooks, correct? Or did that get going?
Although Theo used to go into a studio to do that because he's not very technically minded. And so he would always just have to go into a studio. But then I occasionally would engineer for him. But then once things locked down, all the audiobooks were here.
I was just going to say, for those of you who don't know, Jess is the better half of Theodore Chin, who is the voice of Zenyatta, and I had him on the stream last week. But yeah, not everybody knows, so I thought I'd just put that in there. They're like, Theo,
Overwatch fam.
Yes, Overwatch fam, for sure. So we could get into audiobooks a little later, because I am fascinated by that world, even though I'm terrible at it. I want to know the beginning of, for these viewers watching, you acted since you were younger and then found your way into the voice world by living in Asia as well. So
that's right.
Can you kind of break it down a little bit?
Okay, well, I've been singing since I was a kid. I was in a touring children's choir called the Glen Ellen Children's Chorus, and we got to sing all kinds of cool places in Europe, in Carnegie Hall, and Disney World.
Wait, in Europe?
Yeah, we toured. My first trip abroad was to Norway singing with this children's choir.
How old were you?
6th grade.
That's awesome!
It was awesome. Yeah, it was really neat.
Holy cow.
So yeah, that kind of gave me the travel bug as a kid. And so I was singing from really young, and even did a couple. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, when did I first start recording? And actually in middle school, I was in a group. There were a handful of kids in my church that sang well, and somehow we ended up being a little group called the Jammin' Jays, and we recorded Bible school songs in a studio. I don't know, I think I had we were on cassette tapes, somewhere around the Midwest, a bunch of cassette tapes.
You need to find this.
Studio singing as a little kid. But anyway.
The only thing better than the free large fries you get when you download the app are the points you'll start earning on any order with new My McDonald's Rewards. Download the app today to get free large fries.
So, if you have a flat tyre, dead battery, need a tow, or lock your keys in the car, Geico's emergency roadside assistance is there 24/7. Someone help me! I have a flat tyre! Oh, good for me. What do you think? Geico.
Welcome to Extra Mile. We've got everything you need. You name it. Energy drinks, snacks, Mile 1 coffee. We even have hot food. Whoa, hot food and fresh sandwiches. Treat you right at Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations.
Studied music in college, I went to Belmont University in Nashville, and
But you didn't grow up.
I grew up in Chicago, and then I went to school in Nashville to study music. And I studied, in high school. I'm sorry. He was the one that does the interviews.
Yeah, you're so cute. This is great. This is fine. We're gonna skip a lot.
But yeah, in high school, I was in all the plays and all the musicals and all the choirs and everything. And so then I went to college in Nashville for music.
Were your parents supportive of this?
Very. I'm very lucky. It's funny because both of my parents are educators. My mom was a kindergarten teacher, and my dad, a high school guidance counselor and a football coach. And, creative, like my mom used to craft and stuff like that. But like neither of them were really into like the arts. And my brother got really into photography and then art, like curation. He got an MFA, like he's very artistic. And then I was doing like, musicals and theater and all this stuff. And so they were kind of like, where did you guys come from? But they just, they always just gave us every opportunity that we wanted to take. And
that's awesome.
We're really lucky. So
I think as educators, though, you have that understanding that when kids are good at something, that's probably what's going to make them happy and what they're going to succeed at versus,
totally.
When they're in another career, then they're like, well, you must do this because that's what has to happen.
Yeah. So that's how I got into singing in this children's choir, or going to the school that if I had an interest, they gave me that opportunity. So I was really a lucky kid, and I studied music in college. I was musical theater major briefly, and then I changed to like commercial music, which was a voice major, but it was more a sort of holistic and not just like a classical degree. And so I had classes in like recording technology. I mean, this is before like digital recording. And so like we were actually like learning about like cutting tape and it was crazy. But anyway, so I got to, a little bit of like recording technology and stuff back then.
What did you think when you were studying all this? What did you think, like, your dream was to do what with all of that?
My dream, when I was very young, and really even into college, was to be an artist, like a singer-songwriter. Because I write music and I play guitar, and so that was sort of my thought. But, and I played gigs, and I still do sometimes. You've been... and
yeah, they're really amazing.
Thanks. But I don't know, like being in Nashville and like seeing what it took to like be an artist, I just didn't feel like once I was there, like, and I saw the people that were really hitting, like, I was like, I just don't know that I'm wired that way. And like, I just really love to sing. I really love to work. And I also love being on stage and performing, but like the writing and then all the hustle of like putting yourself, I mean, I guess you have to do that in voiceover too, but it's a different thing. Like when it's your own, like you're the product, it's your songs, I don't know,
it's scary. It's scary. It's very personal. And then there's that aspect of like marketing yourself. It's like what artists don't like to do. So it's a thing. Yeah. And
I just kind of I didn't feel like I was totally wired that way. And I did record an album in Nashville. But then I actually,
where can we buy this CD?
Oh, that was another life. That was, it was an album of hymns, but in like a Portishead trip hop kind of vibe.
I'm doing the freaking, what's it called, like Kermit the Frog right now.
Another life, but the album was called Tonic. It was a former name that I had. And,
can I find this on Amazon?
Probably.
Guys, somebody do a search. Amazon Tonic. Was it just you, or did you have like backup singers?
I did all the backup singing, and but I had a couple of guys. James Waddell, who has a studio still in Nashville, he did like the programming, and then my friend Jonathan Lawson, who married one of my Nashville roommates, Cassandra. who's Cassandra Lawson. And then they became kind of the next big thing in country music for a while, called the Railers. Although they're now doing their own duo thing called, then there were what are they called now? Ivy in the Wall. Anyway, they're lovely.
Oh, cool.
But he plays like mandolin and guitar. Anyway, it was very 2003. Anyway, so moving on.
Did we sell any of these though? Was it like?
I mean, I played a couple of gigs, and sold them, there. I think I
locally,
sold maybe 200 in, it's been like 20 years.
Okay.
But I have a box of them in the garage if you want any.
I do want one. That would be amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, Theo should take them to cons and.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. But anyway, so Nashville. I had the travel bug from when I was really young, traveling with this children's chorus and stuff like that. And I wanted to travel out of college, but I didn't have any money. And so I started to think, like, maybe I'll teach English abroad or I'll work abroad. And so I was starting to look at, like, English teaching jobs in Asia. And as I was starting to look at that, I heard randomly from a girl that I knew in high school who was performing at a theme park in Korea. And I was like, that looks like fun. How do I do that? And so she got me hired there. And so I went in 2006 to perform at this theme park just north of Seoul.
You'd never spoken, you didn't know Korean, you'd never been to Asia. Like, you just said, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I wanted to travel. I wanted, to do something new. And
that's ballsy. Not a lot of people just go, oh yeah, let me just go do this. It's scary. You don't speak the language. Like, it's totally out of your element.
But this theme park, it was called English Village. It was a Korean government project. It was to give Korean students the experience of traveling abroad, kids who couldn't necessarily afford. And so part of my job was to be there and be white. And and so I did like street performance, and I did these like role play activity classes. They also had like a theater where they did more like proper like musical theater, kids shows and stuff like that. And so I did, it was funny, but there were like 150, young 20 somethings, living there on campus. And so it was a real soft landing into Korea. We were in this little island, but, anyway, it was fun. And
you learned some Korean.
I learned, so I started to learn a little bit there, and, on my days off, venture into Seoul. And then some of us, because we were all like performers and stuff, a lot of the other, edutainers is what we were called, would do like voiceover or like TV stuff or things like that. And so sort of through each other, we met other voice actors or actors or agents for foreign talent in Seoul and whatever. And so by the end of my first year doing the theme park, I was on my days off doing some voiceover and stuff like that. And I was like, this is cool. This is what I want to do. And so when my contract was up, I moved into Seoul, got my own place, and signed with an agent who dealt with foreign talent. And I ended up staying for 6.5 years.
Years. This is crazy.
Yeah. So I did like, voiceover for like tons of like English educational, materials, lots of like phonics, apple, or like a lot of audiobooks and, for like kid stuff. And then also Korean created English language animation. Like they had a bunch of stuff for the East Asian market that I did. And it was stuff that never really made it over here, but it was like a big deal over there, and it was really neat. So
it was like literal, like little cartoon voices.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one actually that made its way to, it's like I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Hutos, Hutos. And it's like these little, kind of like little Teletubby almost type things, but they're cute little bears and stuff. And I was like the big brother Moya, and he had the little blue outfit, and
oh my God,
they just had these little short things, and they took their short little episodes where they learned a lesson and took care of each other, or and did a little singing on that too. It was sweet.
Oh, how cool. Like quite a few episodes?
Oh gosh, I did 4 or 5 seasons.
Jesus.
Like,
Okay.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream, so we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program. It gives us discounts for safe driving, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. American Family Insurance.
Yeah.
they were
Apartments.com has the most pet-friendly listings for pet-loving renters. So you might say that we've brought more joy to more sweet, innocent, and adorable little creatures than any other site. Apartments.com, the most popular place to find a place.
like 12-minute episodes or something like that, and it was like each season was like 50. I did a ton of photos.
Wow.
But yeah.
Oh, cool. Have you
funny. What's that?
Have you tried to watch it on Amazon to see like what it feels like today?
You know, I think when one of my, actor friends in Seoul sent me a link when they discovered that it was on Amazon. And I think Theo and I were together at that point, and I think we watched an episode, and I was like this the whole time, like,
Yeah.
as anybody who makes things, when you're young, when you're just starting to make something, or at any point, if you look back 10 years, 15 years to something you made back then, it's a little cringy.
Totally.
It's just, you're always getting better. You're always learning. I'm sure what I hear what I do now, in 10, 15 years, I'll be like, but it's just growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the market's different there. But
of course, totally. Yeah. No, but that's fascinating to me when you do something for a foreign country so long ago, to see like, I don't know how it feels different now.
Yeah,
okay. So you did all of these, and then what brought you back to America?
So I was working a lot. I kind of was, I got to be one of the big fish over there in terms of like, I was, my agent or different clients would be like, hey, can you record this thing? And I'd be like, how about, 3 weeks from Tuesday, at 4? And they'd be like, okay. And it was,
so you were in the
real privilege
all day, every day.
And I was working all the time, and I was, taking the subway all over Seoul. I had 4 or 5 sessions a day and working 5 days a week. And I was just, it was awesome. It was a great opportunity, like paid education, really. But I was burned out. I also went through a breakup, and it was just, it was time to like do something new. And I also, like, I was doing a lot of stuff in Korea, but I kind of like, the growth that I could do at that point was sort of incremental. Like the ceiling was very close. And so I wanted to try the big leagues, I guess. And also my brother had been in Long Beach, LA adjacent at that point already for probably a decade. And so I had family out here. And so I decided to take the plunge, and I moved here in December, actually Christmas Eve. I made an international move on Christmas Eve, 2012. And so,
wow. And so you show up and you're like figuring out how to knock on doors because you haven't done this in LA.
Yeah. And it was a rude awakening because people were knocking down my door to work in Korea, and it took me 7 months to make a penny in LA, and it was as background on Storage Hunters reality show.
Well, everybody loves Storage Hunters, so.
Not even Storage Wars, which is the main storage one. It was like the secondary storage show.
Oh my God.
And that was my first paycheck in LA. And that was like 7 months after it was just like, it was hard, but I had planned ahead. I knew LA was going to be hard, not quite that hard, but I saved a lot. Like I worked really hard in Seoul the last like year and a half and saved a lot of money. So I was able to come and not have to get a day job right away, which I think really helped my sort of, trajectory. But I just my first couple of years in LA, like I said yes to everything. If somebody's like, hey, you know, there's like this community theater production of, you don't want to audition with me? I was like, sure. You know, and then, you know, I got into this production of Les Mis at a community theater out in Moore Park, which is like a drive, but it was great. And I met all these other creatives. And then I met, you know, this, my friend Abby Cluster, who's a talented voice actor. And she's like, some of my other friends are like making this like voiceover workout group, and you do voiceover. Do you want to join us? I was like, yes. And so through that, I met.
And this voiceover workout group still meets up, right?
I mean, yes.
This is the one that did the podcast?
What's that? Yeah, we did the Free Candy Van podcast. We call ourselves the Green Giraffes. And we haven't actually, like, I mean, through the pandemic, met regularly, but we still you know, have meetups on Zoom and stuff. And since we started, there's now like babies and growing children and, you know, and careers that have gotten busy. And so, you know, but we still support each other and, you know, keep tabs and stuff. But it was amazing to like meet other people who are sort of getting started and, so, you know, share
tools and tips.
Tips, contacts. You know, we would introduce, you know, I know this casting director. We'd bring them into the group to do our own little like casting workshop. And then suddenly this casting director, actually someone that I met through that, he is still, like, he sent me an audition yesterday.
That's
and
crazy.
So
That's so cool.
For me, you know, the key to getting started in LA was just saying yes to everything, because like this thing doesn't seem like much, but I meet someone here who refers me to this, and then things lead to things. And so
yeah, I like to call it like the golden nugget, because every project I've done, even if it was like a piece of crap short film in New York, there's at least one person, if not more, that I go, that person I met there, and that was a horrible project, but from there, this, you know, took me somewhere else. And I feel like there's always that possibility that we have to be open to. Yeah. And I think it's such a cool thing that you guys started this voiceover group too, because you're not just waiting around to see what happens, or, well, I don't have money to do a class, so how do I do this? It's like, no, let's get together and help each other out, because everyone's going to have good feedback, you know?
That was great, because, we didn't have to pay our, you know, $20 a night or whatever it is for these workout groups, which is also worth it sometimes. But we were just, friends that supported each other and had enough experience under our belt to, like, to have something to say, you know? We could copy together and give each other feedback, and, you know.
That's so smart.
It was great.
And fun, for sure. So what was the first voice gig that you got in LA that you were, like, psyched about? Even if it was one line on a tiny project that you were just like, oh my God, yeah, you know?
It would, well.
Because I've done VO gigs that I'm just like, it's a gig. I'm really happy I got it. But, you know, there's, like, other ones that are more exciting.
Yeah.
You know?
The one that comes to mind, although it was singing, was you may know it, or maybe some of your hello everybody watching, you may know
everybody.
There's a Disney Channel Latin America show called Violetta, and they did like the English dub, and I got referred by someone I had met, and this was still pretty early in my time in LA, to be the singing voice, the English dub singing voice for one of the main characters. And so we did, I think, 3 seasons of Violetta. And
dude,
this is before I was union. I mean, this is like a non-union dub thing, you know, but it was like, I was like, Disney Channel, this is so cool. And and as dub, you know, goes, it was a little hit or miss, I think, when you watch it back, but it was really neat.
For these things, do you usually have to like listen to whoever's doing the voice and try and match what they would be, or you're just like, they can be a little different? Are you trying to sound like what that person would sound like singing?
I think that they chose me for this role because I kind of naturally sounded like this character. And then they had someone else doing the speaking. I think I was actually added later, because they'd hired someone who said they could sing to do the all of it. And then she'd already done most of the dialogue for one of, you know, the first season or something. And then they were like, oh, you're singing this crap. And so they brought me in to like fix or, you know, do.
Yeah.
And so I say this because I don't actually know who this was, but I'm not trying to throw shade.
Yeah. I'm sure they've done that a lot though with you, that you just have to come in and fix stuff because people can't sing properly.
You know, Theo jokes that at least in the session singing world, like the like singing in the rain, like that life still kind of is the life of a session singer, where you're the singer behind the curtain. Like a lot of, and it can be frustrating. Like it's still in the, at least for union session singing, like it's still in the contract that like it's producer's prerogative if they're going to credit you or not. Like you don't even have to be credited for session stuff. And so it's like, I'm always grateful to work, but a lot of the stuff that we do, I mean, this Violetta, like I can talk about that, whatever, but there's a lot of stuff that you do as a session singer, like
they'll never know that you did and you were like sweetening somebody else's.
Yeah, you just can't,
That is so crazy. I guess it's like ADR when a lot of people go in to do ADR for Brad Pitt or whatever. They can't say, oh, I did most of the ADR for Brad Pitt in this movie, because that would not fly. Yeah.
And
can I get 10 large fries, please? I'm gonna need like 10 Egg McMuffin sandwich things.
Night or the next morning, you've been loyal. My McDonald's Rewards is for you. Now every order earns points redeemable for free McDonald's.
I guess it's.
Welcome to Extra Mile. We've got everything you need. You name it. Energy drinks, snacks, Mile 1 coffee. We even have hot food. Whoa! Hot food and fresh sandwiches. Treat you right at Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations.
Similar to that. And like Theo and I, we met on an ADR.
Good morning, Cerritos! Computer, jamming speed! This could be your year to get promoted.
Got what it takes?
Yes! Okie dokie.
Only thing missing is Boimler. Think of all the fun adventures he's going on.
Oh, God.
Get him out of there.
Our job. We were both doing some line replacement.
Tell me more.
For Doctor Strange. On the Marvel Doctor Strange movie. But
I'm just saying hi to newcomers.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, hi. People come and go. It's an open house. Okay, so let's talk about Sing, because that's one of my favorite stories. It's the beautiful movie. Oh my God, what is it that happens? It's this theater is shutting down, right? And is it George Clooney? I forget.
It's Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, close enough.
Yeah.
And he's trying to put together a team of people to do a little show because they're going to go bankrupt or something. Yeah. I love that movie. I think it's really cute. And
it's really, really good.
Yeah. And it's funny. Who made it again? What studio?
Illumination. They did like Despicable Me, Minions, Life of Pets, stuff like that.
They do quirky really well. Okay, so how did you get the first gig on there, and how did it continue?
So, session singing, again, even though it's SAG-AFTRA, it's not through agents. It's structured a little bit differently. Like everybody's an independent contractor. It's referral based. So you kind of just have to know all the sort of casting directors, but they're contractors. Anyway, so I was playing in a softball league, and I was at a softball game playing, and
this world is so crazy.
I got an email from this contractor saying, "You do character voices, right? Can you send me this it was a Beyonce song, got me looking so crazy right now. Can you send me that, but as a chipmunk?" And I was like, "Sure, when do you need it?" He's like, "As soon as possible." And so I was like, "Bye, softball game," and ran home. And I mean, at that point, I was living, with a roommate in a crappy apartment in NoHo, North Hollywood, and my studio was my walk-in closet.
Hey, my studio is still my walk-in closet.
And so we've all had that phase, and so and some people are still there, and that's totally cool. But anyway, so I ran home and got in my studio and downloaded from iTunes the karaoke version, and so I'm just like, yeah, got me looking so crazy right now, you love. Yeah. So,
I was just gonna ask you, what does a chipmunk sing like?
Yeah, I don't know. And so I think I was like, male or female, and then like, chipmunk. And so okay,
whatever, gender neutral.
And so I sent that, it's like within an hour and a half of the request. And I think the next morning, you know, I got a call saying, hey, so are you free this afternoon? Or maybe the timeline isn't quite that, but it was really fast.
Always last minute. Yeah.
And so I go into the studio that happened to be like 2 blocks from my place. And it was the shrimp at the very beginning of the audition sequence in Sing, if you've seen it. Like there's like little shrimps in a little thing, and that's what we're singing. Got me looking so crazy right now. And so we did that. And but then while I was there, they were like, well, we're also the same women that were Sarah Mann and Jessica Rotter, who have sung on everything, and our dear friends. They were also the shrimp. And then they were like, okay, we're also going to use you guys for these bunnies. And it's just like, it's like the rump shaker. I like what is the line? It's like the rump shaker thing, but oh my gosh, look at her butt. And like did the whole like that thing that was
funny,
whatever. And so that was like my in to sing. And then they just kept calling me back for, oh, well, there's this little auxiliary character, or there's this little thing, or we need you to voice match this person and do a little sweetening for them, or we need, you know, just some choral or some backup vocals for this big production number. And so I ended up having 16 sessions on Sing. And it was awesome. It was the gift that kept on giving. So
wow. Can you explain what sweetening is for those of them who don't know? Yeah,
it can be a lot of different things. In the case from what I have tended to do, there will be it's like ADR voice match. But it's like there will be a person who does like a celebrity or something, and they have a nice voice, but they can't quite hit that note, or they've rewritten something and they're too expensive to get back in, and so they're like they get someone to sound like them, or they just want a little more power here or something like that. And so the person has already sung it, and then they bring you in to sound like them but sing it a little better, and then they kind of like mix a little bit of this and a little of them and a little of me, and you know, and hopefully if it's done well, you can't tell the difference. So I've gotten to do
did that.
Some of that.
But then how did the little red pandas come about?
Oh no, the pandas. So this is embarrassing, especially as the wife of an Asian person.
We don't need to talk about it. But
no, it's okay.
You do a great job.
Anyway, so I was already, you know, they were bringing me in for, you know, a bunch of different stuff, and so then they called me in for a session one time, and I knew it was for Sing, but I didn't know what it was. And I walked in, and the producer's like, hey, so you speak Japanese or something, right? And I was like,
or something.
I speak Korean. And they were like, oh, okay, because we have these characters. I guess I'd already done some singing for them, but you can sing in a different language, like it's, you know, kira kira kira, happy happy happy. And so whatever. But they were adding some dialogue for the Red Pandas, and they thought that I spoke Japanese. I did not. And if they'd asked me ahead of time, like if they called me and said, hey, do you speak Japanese? I would have said no. But I was in the booth, and, you know, you want to please. And so I had a roommate in Seoul. He's Korean, but he works as a translator. He's multilingual. He speaks Japanese even better than his English. And so I was like, what time is it in Seoul? And I texted him, and he was on the train on his way to work. And I said, I need your help right now. And so I like took a screenshot, or I took a picture of it was like 5 sentences in Japanese. Yeah. And I mean, it was not even like, I mean, it was written in Japanese. So like, I couldn't even sound it out. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
And so I sent it to him, and I said, I need you to record it into your phone really slowly and then at natural speed. And he did. And so I went into the booth, and, you know, he was like, ware wa, something, 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 this. And I was like, oh. So I'm writing, you know, ware wa. And I did that for 5 sentences, and until we were like, ware wa, something, 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 this. And the producer, you know, until we were like, okay, sounds good. And I was sure at some point in the process of, you know,
editing,
people checking the movie, that someone was going to be like, that's really bad Japanese. No one's, you know, and that they would replace it with someone who actually spoke Japanese. But we went and saw the movie, and nope, that was me. But I actually, like, afterward, I was so paranoid about it and felt so bad about it. Like, I would go, like, I went on YouTube, like, and found, like, searched for, like, Japanese comments and, like, copied and put them in Translate. And people were like, oh, they sound cute, like little dolls. Or, you know, like, from what I could find, nobody was like, this person's terrible. They clearly don't speak Japanese. So I was like, oh, phew.
But those are the things that, you know, have happened at booths in the past that, like, now they're being more careful about. But I do think, like, I definitely, like, at the beginning, I was like, I speak Italian and I'm going to do these voiceovers in Italian. But now I'm like, nah. Book an Italian person who speaks better, who speaks properly, and I will stick to my languages.
Yeah, and I'm, you know, I hope that at this point that even in that situation, if I were in the booth in the moment, still I would say, you know, you should hire someone who speaks Japanese. I think at that point I was still desperate enough for, like, a paycheck and, you know, food. You
don't want to say no to it. You know, for so long we've been told, just, like, fake it till you make it. Just do it. Say yes to all the things, and so you do because we want the gig and we want to prove ourselves. But still, I think it's a great story, and I think it's, like, such a cool way to be part of Sing.
It's a very LA experience, I feel like, and it was
And have you? So
it was.
Sing 2 is in the works, correct?
It is.
Have we worked on it? Can we talk about it?
We have. A lot of
sweetening.
Like, some of that, and also some of the bigger production numbers again, seeing the backup and choral, you know, just sort of.
That's got to be fun because that movie has all these, like, super famous pop songs, right?
Yeah.
Toyota's national sales event is on now.
Save big on a new Tacoma with 2.49 APR for up to 72 months.
It all ends September 7th.
Toyota, let's go places.
So much fun.
We're here at a local supermarket where top athletes have turned the dairy fridge into a high-performance training facility.
I imagine they're freezing cold, but they're, like, pumping iron this entire time.
And I just saw kettlebells flying. I saw a lot of good-looking people, and I said, you know, that's what I got to do. I grabbed the milk.
Yeah.
It's great.
Tell me you do these kids songs that I didn't know what it was till you explained it. They go on the radio. That's a fun thing that I because I didn't grow up here. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But, like, most people are like, oh my God, it's like my sister used to listen to that on the radio. She's like, what? What's it called again?
Well, it's also something I'm not probably supposed to talk about, but it's Kids Bop. Anybody who likes Kids Bop, the leads are legitimately kids, and the kids are super talented, and they're fantastic. And I've met 3 of the current 4 Kids Bop, or kids, and they're talented, good kids. Anyway, but it's much faster and more economical for the background vocals to be young sounding adults because they crank out a lot of music. And so I help with the arrangements of the background vocals and, you know, sing some of that. So, but I've done, like, you know, the last 2.5 years or something, like 200 songs, or, like, it's been a lot.
That's insane to me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. It just goes to show there's such different jobs in the voice world that, like, I work in voiceover, and I would never do. Well, I don't sing, so obviously I would never do those things. But, like, just the fact that there's all these branches to it, I'm fascinated by. You know?
Yeah, and I do. I mean, voiceover stuff too. Like, I have a couple of commercials running right now. And
which ones? Tell us in case we're listening to the radio.
I have I think on like internet radio. So, like, if you have Pandora with ads or something like that, there's a Marriott Bonvoy boundless card thing. Have you heard this?
I know, but that's amazing.
Yeah, actually, it's a really the director actually just sent me the final, and it sounds really nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then I was in the booth, actually in studio a couple weeks ago, and did a Capital One thing that I think will run nationally on the radio. I haven't heard of it, but it should be running soon.
That's huge.
But yeah, no, I'm so great.
Alec and Jen,
if you can get it, is like,
yeah.
So,
holy cow, that's amazing. And so then, for Pitch Perfect, because we have a fan in the audience, Danny, and maybe Wonder Park. What was the dealio there?
Again, yeah, it was Pitch Perfect. I just did Pitch Perfect 3. I didn't do the first 2, but the Bellas, the actors, as far as I know, did all their own like step out solo stuff, but it's just, I think it's quicker and cheaper to get a bunch of session people in, to do when they're all stacked together in the big group stuff. And so I kind of filled in, the parts, for some, the big Bella numbers. And there was another group, I can't remember, like the more rocker chick stuff. We did a couple of those things too. Yeah, so that was just
going with the same group of ladies to do stuff, or varies?
Some of the same singers, but yeah, I mean, there's a number of singers in town that work a lot that you see kind of regularly, but then there's, hopefully always a couple of new faces in the mix.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that because you've done it, they just call you because they know you can handle it.
Yeah, they know that I have that kind of young, bright, I get
right.
Like, I like to think that I can do anything, and that's sort of, what any sort of up and coming voice actor is also like. They're like, what are you good at? Everything. I can do everything. But, you have to kind of know what your niche is, or at least when you're getting into it, like what people will think of you for. And for me, at least for singing, it's like character singing, and then also sort of young pop, like a cappella group, young poppy stuff, like the Kids Bop stuff, or like, sort of.
Is Ruby Rose in that?
What's that?
Is Ruby Rose in Pitch Perfect?
Yes. She was in that Rocker thing. Yeah.
How funny. I should see it.
Obviously I didn't meet her, but yeah. So, yeah. Oh, and then the Wonder Park. Did you see it? It's really cute.
I haven't. I should.
That's okay.
I've been catching up on my feature animations.
That's okay. It was really cute. It was a little... It felt a little rushed, or like, I don't know, it could have been better, but it has a good message, science, STEM, learning for especially a little girl and stuff. It was great.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was really nice. But there were these like little demented chimpanzee dolls, monkey dolls that turn into like, they call them like the chimpanzee zombies. And so like she goes into this theme park, and at first they're like, something happy, won't you say happy, happy. I don't remember how it goes. Something happy. But
you always seem to do happy.
Yeah. And then, but as things like start to like spiral out of control at this theme park, these chimpanzee zombies, they call them, they're, hey, happy, won't you play? Happy, won't you? And then it like later on, hey, happy, they get more and more demented. So that was a fun session. There were, I think, in the booth, and they were just like, go as crazy as you can, now like monkey sounds, it was just like, it was wild.
Oh my God, that is so much fun. Does that translate into Walla groups? Like, do you do a lot of Walla?
It was similar. I did get to do some Walla for Sing because of some of the characters that I had done. And this Chimpanzee Zombies one was, it was a singing contract, but it was, we did some Walla, and I did some Walla also. I've done Walla on a couple of things. I did Walla on an episode of Castle that had, like, they hired some of us that did singing as well, because it was like a Pitch Perfect-y kind of episode of Castle. So I did some Walla on that. I don't know.
Also, Coetzo, I think you're in Brazil, right? What's the name? Walla? They're just, so Walla is like when you do voices for a bunch of like, background characters, or like if there's a big street scene and they're screaming, and then you'll be like, pass me the potatoes, I'd like to buy some eggs, or whatever. Like, you're kind of doing like extra extra voices, but they're just in a bunch of different scenarios. And it's fun because they'll be like, okay, like sound like a little kid, you know, flying a kite or whatever. So it's kind of neat to go in and get to do a bunch of different voices and characters.
Yeah. Because when they're actually shooting a scene, they're only recording the dialogue between the front people, and everybody else is just going, you know, miming. So you have to fill in that sound later.
And so then one of the really cool gigs you did was Perry Mason, where you guys got to be on camera being a chorus or a chorale. How did this
I don't actually do very much on camera, but it's really fun when it comes. But yeah, for Perry Mason, it was an HBO series that came out early pandemic. I was a big sort of part of the storyline is that there's this church that what is her name that does Orphan Black?
Tatiana Masliani.
Yeah, she was amazing, but she's this like charismatic religious leader, and he interacts with her, and so there's 4 or 5 episodes that, you know, there's like a big, you know, church service, and she does this big whatever. And so there was a group of us that went into a studio beforehand and recorded all of the church music and all the choir singing and stuff. And then some of us got to also do on camera, and then they filled it in with, you know, background actors. But it was really fun to like do all that choir singing.
You were on set quite a few days though, right?
I think it ended up being about 2 weeks. It was awesome. It was exhausting because I'm not accustomed to like, you know, on set, you know, hours, and it was like there were long hours, but it was fun. It was a really cool experience.
And so for the most part, you feel like I haven't seen the show, but they don't show the chorus too much, even if they're hearing you sing?
No, I mean, you see us. I mean, you wouldn't really. There's one scene where there were like a smaller group of women, and we follow her up, like we're singing outside the city hall, and then we follow her up the steps, and we're singing. And if you know that I'm there, you can like pause it and be like, oh, there's a big face of me, you know, but it kind of passes. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the group. But then, all the big church ones, like they show the choir a lot. But again, you kind of have to know where I am to see me because I'm just in the sea of people. And then knowing my voice, I can hear myself.
Oh, funny and cool. You know, like, did you record a lot of in studio after to like change stuff?
For
like
Perry
Mason? You were on set, and then was there a lot of like ADR stuff happening?
I think they had another, like they must have had a different loop group or something like that. So we didn't do any of that, but we did all the choir recording beforehand, and then they had it on playback during the scenes where they would play the recording that we did of the you know, the choir music, and then everybody in the choir would sort of mime, you know, and you know, along to it.
And you can't even clap for real, right? It's got to be this fake, like.
Now, your caramel frappe in the morning can earn you a free McChicken in the afternoon. Because every order earns points with new My McDonald's Rewards. Download the app today to start earning free McDonald's.
Because of sound, right?
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Sign up now.
Yeah, it depends.
Welcome to Extra Mile. We've got everything you need. You name it. Energy drinks, snacks, Mile 1 coffee. We even have hot food. Whoa! Hot food and fresh sandwiches. Treat you right at Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations.
Depends on, there were some like just sort of where they were getting the scene, and we could really clap and like make noise and stuff. But there was other stuff where there's dialogue happening down there, but we're supposed to be like going crazy, you know, and so it's really, you know, and those were big days. I mean, there were hundreds of background, and I can't imagine, you know, I mean, it takes so much to corral that. I mean, because the whole auditorium was full of people, and then this is pre-COVID, obviously. But it was just hundreds of people, and so It's amazing.
I don't know how they do those scenes with so many extras. Like that's just insane.
It's wild.
So you do a lot of voices where you are imitating people or you don't get the credit. Talk to me about Tori in Cobra Kai.
Oh, that was so much fun because, like so much of what I do is like, well, kind of, I'm not supposed to really talk about this or And it was really fun to do this video game where I'm like, that's me. That is a character that is me. And it was...
She's super badass. She's got cute red hair.
Yeah.
Does she have wings?
I don't think so.
It looks like it in this little image. Okay,
but she...
it's plants.
I don't know if you actually watched the series Cobra Kai, but she's like... she's so cool. She's like the best character. I don't think she shows up until the second season, but then she's like one of the leads. Anyway,
she's kind of she's like on the evil side.
Yeah, she's in the the bad tough kids group. But it was an audition that I got. It actually
was this pre-show or?
No, I think the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai were out, although I hadn't seen it. And then when I got the audition, I just watched a few clips on YouTube. I'm like, who is this character? Trying to get her vibe. And I auditioned for, I think, 3 different female characters. It was also the nice girl who's Daniel LaRusso's daughter. I auditioned for her. And then the mean girl, blonde girl.
Yeah.
Who actually Theo knows in real life, and it's really nice. But, so I auditioned for all 3 of those. I booked Tori, and
badass.
I think it was early pandemic, or maybe it was a little before, but I recorded it here at home.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. And
have you gotten to play, or
what's that?
Have you gotten to play?
We did get the game. I don't know that we've actually played it. We have it as a souvenir, but I don't know that I've played it. I watched a little bit of gameplay on YouTube because I was curious.
Right.
But it's kind of Street Fighter-y. It's very 2D kind of, game.
Totally, I love it.
Not amazing, but it's kind of kitschy and cute in that way.
Yeah. The whole show has that kind of, old school feel anyway, so.
Yes, the Cobra Kai published by Game Mill. Yeah, that's a fun game.
Cool. So. Awesome. Oh man, that's so great. I didn't realize that you'd worked on that. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was fun. And when I was in Korea, because they produce a lot of games over there, I did a good number of games in Korea. But since I came to LA, I just, it wasn't a threshold that I had quite crossed yet. But yeah, Cobra Kai was, I think, at least my first sort of more major-ish.
Yeah. So do you feel like lately you've been auditioning more for, what's the slew of auditions you get? Is it a lot of commercial stuff? Is it a lot of singing?
My agents are the best, and I'm with ABO, and it's a really wonderful team. And they, even though I'm not I'm working, but I'm not a star or like you Overwatch people, But I am so grateful because they put me out for lead stuff, series regular stuff, major things. And I just, I feel really grateful that they do kind of believe in me. So yeah, I auditioned across the board. I auditioned for a lot of commercial stuff. That's more of what I book through them. But
are jingles still a thing? Is that something that
jingles are a very different beast. I think that most of the jingle houses are in Texas. I don't really know. It's a totally different game that I don't know much about.
But I was just curious if the singing translated to little jingles.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, they do, there's a lot of animations and stuff that require singing that I audition for through, my agents. A lot of DreamWorks and stuff like that. They have a lot of singing character stuff, and obviously Disney things. For some reason, I just can't quite get a call back yet. But
yes, exactly. Send it out until it happens.
Yeah, so that's sort of for me a dream, not like the dream, but like it's a dream is obviously to get like a series reg on like, you know, a sweet like animation that runs for a long time, you know,
and a character that can grow and
I think that would be really fun. But you know, so far, like I do, in addition to the singing voice match stuff, I also do a good bit of like voiceover voice match. I think I'm a good parrot. I have a good ear, and so I can like replicate. And so which
is also a really interesting, important skill that not everybody has. You know.
Yeah. And so, some of the voiceover stuff that I've booked has been.
Can you say who you voice matched? Just because that's.
Yeah, I guess I could say. I mean, I did, like when I met Theo, I was voice matching Rachel McAdams. What's that?
I was just joking that you voice matched Zenyatta.
Yeah, I voice matched Rachel McAdams and in Doctor Strange, and I voice matched Maria Bamford for this Pen Zero Part-Time Hero series. Like she had done like a bunch, and then like she was already on to, I think, doing her like Lady Dynamite show, and so when they were doing ADR for something, I did, you know, voice match for Maria Bamford. I did some voice match for what is her name? I'm the worst. In all I'm thinking is Lorelai, but
or Linny?
Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
the mom, and she was in, what's that?
No, I forgot her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And she was in the Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and I did some voice match for her.
Cool. And those are cool gigs, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's all Lauren Graham. Thank you. Oh, that's Craig. Hi, Craig.
Oh, hey!
Anyway, so I mean, it's random, the kind of work that, you know, you end up booking. You never know. You just always try to do your best.
Yeah,
and you have to let it go.
And then, have you done anime since you did live? I mean, I know it's mostly Japanese, but I didn't know if in South Korea there would be some sort of like dubbing of it, or.
You know, there were a couple of things that I did in Korea that maybe sort of would fall under the anime guys. You know, but they were more like Korean, you know, creations. Over here, I don't know that I have. I mean, I've done dubbing, but I don't know that I've done anime.
Is there a cool voice gig that we have not touched upon that you'd like to shout out or have people check out, or stuff that's coming up? Danny's going to put your Instagram in the chat so people can give you a follow. She's a machine. Look at that. Not a second after.
Aw, thanks, Danny. I don't know. I mean, Sing 2 is coming out. I'm excited about that.
When's that coming?
Christmas time, December.
Yeah. And Overwatch 2 is coming out, guys, on...
Yes.
Yep.
That's, Theo has been working on that. That's going to be cool.
Dun, dun, dun. And you've been doing, you do audiobooks quite often, or do you feel like that's not been so much lately?
He does audiobooks a lot, and I engineer for him. You know,
Does he pay you well?
What's that?
Does he pay you well?
He pays me in love.
Yes.
I do sometimes get like an engineering fee, depending on
sweet.
The publisher. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy those days where we just hold up in the studio together.
Yeah, that is, the pandemic has brought these like interesting little gigs upon us, right?
Yeah, and I enjoy I enjoy engineering too. Like, I don't know, I just like the sort of technical, like making everything nice and shiny.
Nice and perfect. Yeah. Just to respond to Koezo, we actually really don't know anything about Overwatch 2. We don't know when it's coming out. I asked recently and they didn't tell me. So, I mean, yes, even if I knew, I couldn't tell you, but the truth of the matter is that I don't know. So,
hopefully soon.
You're right. So Jess.
Welcome to StockX, the only live marketplace for what's now and next. The latest sneakers, apparel, electronics, collectibles, and more, all 100% verified authentic. With StockX, you have the power to shop millions of hard-to-find or sold-out products, all at their true market value. Because everyone deserves the opportunity to get what they want. StockX, access the now. Start shopping at StockX.com.
Every time we wrap it up, I have my guests help me out with a couple shout outs for anybody who subscribes. We have just 2 today, and you can help me with both. If you'd like to thank somebody in a funny voice, you can choose whatever you want to do. Resubscribing for 1 month, and they've been subscribed for a total of 3 months. Thank you so much, Nico Mambino.
Nico Mambino, welcome.
Welcome.
Now suddenly I'm shy. Welcome, Nico Mambino.
You can say happy Nico Mambino.
You want to play happy Nico Mambino? Thank you. Sorry for your subscribe.
Awesome. And then Norma's wife. This is Merciera, right? In the UK, you've changed your screen name, and now I'm confused. But no one beats my firepower. I got this in a British accent. Is that a raised line? Because I don't know, but we can both do it. No one beats my firepower. I got this.
No one beats my firepower. I got this.
Oh my God, she was so fancy about it. You were just like so posh. I loved it. And then we got one more. Oh my gosh, they gave out 5 tier 1 community gift subs. I would like to thank Sounds Like Rexy.
Sounds like Rexy.
Thanks, Sounds Like Rexy. Great job.
Oh my God, guys. You're so fucking sweet. I always do these voices that are like really low pitched and like down here.
But you're up here and they're so cute. Most of the stuff, it's much sweeter.
It is. When I try, I just go into falsetto and it's not as cute. So I love that. Rocking it. Oh my gosh, more subs. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And Mercy, you're hysterical. So guys, thank you so much for coming out. Jess, thank you for joining today.
Thanks for having me, Caro. This was fun.
Yeah, I hope to see you soon for real life in person. Yeah. We have to do another hang. It's been crazy. I am moving this weekend, guys, so there's a lot going on.
You're finally moving?
I'm finally moving, my sister. So there's a lot of boxes. Oh, that's not, boxes packing happening. Oh, these little guys were Jess's characters in Sing, so I put them there. They were like the little boxes. I'm like, no, they're little red pandas.
Little red pandas.
That's the story for today. Jess, thank you so much. You've been rad. Craig, thank you for hanging. The little surprise hello. And guys, give Jess a follow. She's so talented and always posting. I love when you post the music stuff that you do. That's really beautiful. So check it out. And guys, keep booming and booping. Boop.